I'm here with Trevor Bauer. Trevor, great year last year.
Thank
The first question I have for you is, as I have seen your career unfold, I've seen some changes and adjustments. Talk to me about the evolution of Trevor Bauer when he first got to the big leagues to where you are today.
Man, what a change, right? I came up all the way through college and high school and stuff like that. I kind of modeled myself off Tim Lincecum. So I tried to move like him, I tried to pitch like him, and he was this four-seam, big overhand curveball out of college.
Right.
Then he ended up developing the split change, and then so to go from that to changing my delivery around. I had some hip problems, some back problems. I knew I wasn't going to be able to stay healthy for a full career if I didn't change the way I moved. So eventually I shifted from a four-seam curveball guy almost primarily to I added a cutter, change up. So now I throw four-seam, two-seam, cutter, change, curveball, and last year I added the slider. Finally figured out after 3 or 4 years of chasing that thing how to make it move laterally, how to make it be a swing and miss pitch. This offseason I was working on my changeup, trying to kind of channel that Tim Lincecum split change. Modeled that off of like Gosman and Strasburg, and hopefully we'll see how it plays out. But it's just the process is basically I go into every offseason looking at like, what did I do well? Let me make sure I maintain that. And then in my spare time, what can I do better? Can I add a pitch? Can I command the ball better? Can I throw harder? Can I be healthier? Can I learn about sequencing? Can I study tape and break down what hitters are hitting, what they aren't? Like, what is the league trending towards so I can be prepared for it, stuff like that.
That's perfect. So in a minute, I'm going to have you talk to me your mechanical key, but what adjustments time-wise? So give me a snapshot of what it takes on a day you're pitching for you to get ready when he first started to where you are today, because I think that's been a big adjustment that you've made that has allowed you to not only flourish but become your own pitcher.
So I came in, it used to take me about an hour and 45 minutes. It still takes me about an hour and 45 minutes, but what I do has kind of changed. So I start off, I sit in the hot tub, go get dressed in my uniform, and then I'm doing some hip positioning exercises, some activation, glute activation, doing some core activation, thoracic spine, mobility, warm everything up. Do some activation stuff in the weight room, starting to add a little bit of weight, some movement to it. We got the bands, like the Jigger bands, warm up the shoulders, triceps, biceps, pecs, like just adding a little bit more. And I do something I do that most people don't do is I strap 10-pound wrist weights to my hands, and I'm going through a bunch of different exercises, kind of getting the shoulder ready to handle that stress.
Right.
Then I go into my actual weighted ball throws. So I'm making maybe 50 to 60 weighted ball throws between reverse throws, forward throws, stretch, wind up, stuff like that. And at that point, I'm pretty much fully loose and warm. Go out to the dugout, put my headphones in, kind of get in the zone, do my shoulder tube in front of the dugout, and then a 15-minute long toss session, rest for 5 minutes, 10-minute bullpen session, rest for 10 minutes.
Well, let's get to the mound real quick, because when I talk about pitching and everything that a pitcher does, he gets to a balance point. He's got to get to a balance point. And for some, it might be conventional. For you, you talked about your hips.
Yep.
So talk to me about when you get in this position, what you're trying to do, because you're going up and then down, and you create angles that not a lot of people create.
Yeah, so when I first came up, I had a big turn. And what I found out I took some x-rays of my hips and stuff, I just don't have that type of mobility. So I went from taking a big turn and having a really high leg lift and really like accelerating myself down the mound. I was putting a lot of stress on my hip. So I just shortened my leg lift a little bit, just to a comfortable range. But in order to get into the same position and movement that I was used to, what I think of when my leg is coming up is basically having this leg drop a little bit.
Okay.
So I want to start my body kind of going down as I'm lifting my leg. And it puts me in a position where now I can have good angles on this leg so I can drive my hips into rotation.
The tilt, how's the upper body adjust?
It comes from long toss.
Okay.
All the years of like kind of throwing the ball up in the air for distance and warm up and stuff. So when this hip goes down and this one comes up, it puts my hips in a position where now my upper body just tilts.
Okay.
And so I end up kind of in this position going down the mound, so I can then rotate and come over the top and get.
So where would be, because every pitcher becomes his own pitching coach.
Yep.
Where's the one thing where if it goes bad, is it stride length gets out of whack or the timing? What's the one thing you're checking
It
on?
used to be stride length because I would try to drive off the mound, and I had this really early extension, and that's I think they call it triple extension: knee, ankle, and hip. And I was putting a lot of stress and getting myself out of whack. My torso was shifting forward and all that. So for me, it's really about how long can I keep the front side and the front shoulder closed.
Okay.
I want my rotation to happen as late in the delivery as possible, and that allows my hips to open up, more shoulder-hip separation, and a lot of good things happen there. So when I'm going down the mound, my two keys are this up and this down. So I get in this position, and then I'm basically just trying to keep my upper body retracted as long as I can as my hips turn over. And so I end up in a position about like this at landing. And from here, if I've done everything right, everything just flows right online.
Perfect. Well, that's pitching 101, and I've learned something, and all the best success continued for you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's cold out here. Thanks for being out here.